G'day Bomber fans, our AFL men's season is done, but we still have the AFLW to look forward to, and I just want to start this video by saying I don't know too much about the AFLW. I found it hard to watch the league without my favourite team there, but we are in the comp now. It's our second year as a club, so I'm keen to get around it. Hopefully one of our teams can have success sometime soon, and realistically the girls do look a lot better than the boys do right now, at least I hope so. So let's get into the AFLW preview for the Essendon Bombers. So let's start by looking at our most recent season. We did okay. We were the best of the expansion teams. There were a few of us. We missed finals, but really it was more important to build stability and a promising list in our first year. And now heading into the 2023 season, we have strengthened our team. We have brought in some good players and have others returning from long-term injuries. So for us to head into season 8 looking strong, it's good because we weren't too far off the mark in our inaugural season. We had some great performances, took it to some good teams, but clearly when it mattered most, we were not a true finals contender. So the difference between this season and last has to be the end result. The games we lost narrowly, we now have to win, and if we do that, it's finals. Let's look at some of the inclusions in the off-season, because there are quite a few. The big ones are the two Brooks, Brooke Brown and Brooke Walker. They should slot into our defense and add some speed and height. A lot of what we did in trying to find players was around speed and height, because it's something we were lacking in last season. We didn't really hit the draft this year. We traded away our picks for mature players, which is good because we were a very young team last season. So for us to be a bit older and more mature, the list demographic shows we're in the business of trying to get as far as we can up the ladder. And then you have the fact that VFLW performer Georgia Nanscorn is back. She is a former Olympian. It's a good list. It's a good looking team. So how far can Essendon go? Well, it's actually pretty hard for me personally to say because I've only really followed properly for a year since Essendon came to the comp, and I didn't even manage to catch all games last season. So I'm probably not the person you want to be listening to here. I am far from an expert, but I see a lot of people saying we are dark horses. We had a promising season last year with an inexperienced list. We have added strength to strength, but many predict us to be around the 6 to 12 mark, not going too much further. Some inside the playing group say that we can challenge. That is always good to hear. If your club says they want to challenge, you should expect them to. So I am saying top 6. That is my biased opinion. It's also because I want to see one of our teams succeed. Let's have a look at who we're playing this season. Let's look at the fixture. We obviously start with Hawthorn. We only played the 10 games, 10 of the 18 teams, which in my opinion is a bit silly, but the AFL are weird like that, not giving a full fixture. But anyway, 10 games, 5 against top 8 teams from last year, 5 against bottom 8 teams. It's a pretty even draw. We've even got 2 top 4 teams and 2 bottom 4 teams. I think all teams in the comp have similar draws to that. So there's nothing too out of the ordinary here. We also play 8 games in Melbourne, which is lovely. No travel. We also play every game on a Saturday or Sunday, so no 5-day breaks. All in all, it's a pretty chill fixture, not too easy, not too hard. The AFLW site released our predicted lineup, so let's have a cheeky look at that. Obviously, there are less players in the AFLW than there are in the AFL, but you see the Brooks in defence, Walker and Brown. Our defence is a funny one. We conceded roughly 35 a game last year, which would be great for the AFL, but in the AFLW, the best teams concede around the 20 mark. But with both Brooks added to the team, that could change. Hopefully, we tighten up and score a bit more regularly from defence, like the blokes do in the AFL. Transition footy, it's good to watch. In the guts, we have Steph Kane on that wing, who is hoping to play more midfield minutes in the engine room. Alana Barber had a good year for us last year. Amber Clark, one of the front runners for the Rising Star Award, I believe. You got Wales, Dyke, who will ruck together unless Cutting jumps ahead in the queue. Maddie Press-Parkis and Voigt. Press-Parkis is a gun, one of the best mids in the comp. Our best and fairest winner last year. But the forward line, this is where it gets fun. You've got Georgia G, Paige Scott, Sophie Alexander, and the deepest duo, one of the best duos in the league, Dari Bannister, who was our leading goal scorer last year, and Bonnie Toogood, who is everybody's favourite player. You cannot not love Bonnie. She is a gem on and off the field. A lot of these previews highlight danger players that'll fly under the radar and do a good job for us. I'm going to do the same. I've already spoken about her briefly, but Georgia Nanscorn is a danger player I don't see many people talking about. I remember back when our VFLW team tore up, I went to watch a game in Melbourne because I'm from Adelaide, and she was just nuts. She obviously had a season-long injury last year, which kept her out, but she is back and she is going to have a big impact for our team. Mark my word, she is going to be a high finisher in our best and fairest, I can tell you that. All in all, it's a strong team. Again, I don't know too much about the sport. I've only followed it for the every year that Essendon have been involved. I try to watch a lot of AFLW games, but I just find it hard to be interested in a sport when I don't have a team to support, and I can't support a team that isn't Essendon. I've followed the men's for years, while this team is only a baby in relative terms. So what does this team need to do to have a successful year? I'm going to say it, win a final. I want the women to win one so I can actually experience a finals victory for once. That way it puts more pressure on the men as well. So that's really what I want from a fan, a finals win. So that's really that. Quick preview video, nothing too flashy. I will try and get out more AFLW content as much as I can. I'm going to be following it closely this year, I reckon, and you guys should do the same. Get around it. It's a good comp. We've got a team in it now, so we can all support it. The women have a good chance at finals this year, better than the men at least. So that's all. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and go Bombers.